one man who is not too pleased about it all is joining us now. Joining us over the phone, Frank Gaffney, the president of the Center for Security Policy. He's also former Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defense. What does hate crimes bill have to do with the F-22, Frank?
Practically nothing at all, except that through the complicated practice of the United States Senate, as you've just heard, the two are being linked for the convenience, basically, of those who are promoting this very troubling piece of legislation known as the hate crimes bill.
Well, on the surface, that hate crimes bill seems like a good thing. I mean, nobody should be beaten up or killed or whatever because of the elements that are in the bill, right?
Nobody should. And I think there are other ways to ensure that they're not, rather than creating a new mechanism, and this is my profound concern about this legislation, a new mechanism that will be used, I think you can absolutely count on it, by Islamists who seek to prevent us from talking about or countering their efforts to bring Sharia to the United States, and package that as a kind of hate crime, hate speech, part of a much larger agenda, by the way, that's happening around the world. We shouldn't be opening ourselves to that kind of gambit here in the United States, and I think that's what we're doing in this hasty, backdoor, ill-considered effort by Democrats in the United States Senate.
Sharia law, obviously, the kind of very virulent Islam, the kind that demands that women not be educated, keep their faces covered, and so forth. That's the kind of thing, criticism of that, you think, would be muffled if this hate crimes law were to pass?
Yes, we know around the world, those who endorse and adhere to Sharia are trying to suppress free speech on the grounds that it gives offense to Muslims. Giving offense to Muslims, it will be argued, can translate into hate crimes against Muslims, and therefore not only the crimes but the speech must be prevented, and I'm afraid that's what this legislation, intentionally or unintentionally, will ultimately give rise to. I think this has nothing to do with, how homosexuals are treated. This has to do with, ultimately, our freedom of speech in this country and whether we can give offense to people if we need to speak the truth. The F-22 happens to be a separate matter. It shouldn't be tied up in all of this. I believe we need more of them, notwithstanding what you played from the Secretary of Defense, simply because they are an important ingredient to deterring aggression from the kinds of people we'll have to deal with, I'm afraid, as this world becomes more dangerous with better both aircraft and missiles in the hands of very dangerous people all over the planet.
Well, only in Washington could those two issues be tied together in the same bill.
Right.
Frank Gaffney, the president of the Center for Security Policy. Thanks, Frank.
My pleasure.